Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is EmilyHanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. And today I'm here with something that's maybe a little different for me. I want to talk about 10 fat fashion brands that I want to try in 2022. Now, I dabble in talking about clothing and shoes and accessories as a fat person. And I've also done videos where I talked about like indie makeup brands I wanted to try in the coming year. I thought I would give it a go for fat clothing brands that are owned by fat people, making clothes for fat people, and maybe non-fat people as well. So I actually was kind of inspired by this dress. And what I mean by that is that for a very, very long time, I felt like I never wanted to invest in clothing, like, slow fashion or super handmade, higher price point clothing. One reason is I just don't have the money for it. Real talk, I just don't have the money for it. But the other thing that always held me back was like, I am brutal on my clothes. I beat them up. I'm hard on them. I stain things. I tear things. I especially oil stains, oil spots. Like those are my greatest nemesis. In the end of November for my birthday and for Thanksgiving, I visited my dear friend Lena in Oakland, California. And the last time I had seen Lena, I think the last time was a trip that we took in the summer of 2019. I wore this dress on that trip and on my most recent trip. And like for me as somebody that has like a hard time kind of keeping track of time, a weird relationship with time, when I realized, oh no, you have held on to this dress and made it work for you for years now, it kind of clicked in my head that me spending money on clothes was not some mistake or some bad idea, which is how I was kind of looking at it previously. It's still, the fact that I don't have a whole lot of money for expensive, handmade, well-made clothes, that still holds true. But I also spend a lot of money on makeup and on jewelry, and like those are my hobbies and those are the ways I spend my money outside of rent and bills. So I guess this is all coming to the point of like, I have seen so many amazing brands out there, and I now am at a point where I'm like, no, let me actually truly consider shopping from them rather than it just being like, one day. And I was also kind of inspired because I got a little birthday money, and that gave me the opportunity to buy from Peridot robes. So they are a brand that started making robes for bigger bodies. And they've just recently delved into other clothing pieces, and they came out with this lounger dress. And I had my eye on it for so long. And their whole thing is that they will, there's a word for the kind of I think it's dead stock. They buy dead stock fabrics. So basically what they have is what they have, and they don't restock based on fabrics. So anyway, there was a chartreuse version of this lounger dress that had been on my eye for the entire time it had launched, blah, blah, blah. It sold out. I was kind of heartbroken. And then I got birthday money, and then I got an alert that that size and color was back in stock. And I was like, you know what? We're doing it. Birthday money covered most of it. I felt very happy about it. I still haven't gotten the dress because it's coming to me through a friend, things and stuff. But anyway, that long for no reason story is just another, like, I'm just taking steps to like actually pick up things that excite me, and spend money that, I feel a little unsure about spending, but I also have to realize that I'm worth it. And, spending $125 on a fancy eyeshadow palette takes a lot for me to do, but I'm excited to do it. Why does spending that same amount of money for a piece of clothing feel so much worse or like a bad choice for some reason. So I'm going to link all the brands that I talk about in the video, including peridot robes, in the description box. Also, quick shout out to Body Love, who I mentioned in my haul. This bralette is the bralette that I bought from Body Love. And also quick shout out to Nature's Twist, because they are a fat-owned jewelry brand. So all the love to all the fat-owned brands. Now, quick note, if you like colorful makeup, if you like bitches with lots of opinions, or you just like cute fat babes, or you are a cute fat babe, you should go and subscribe and follow me on other social medias. And, let me know if you're a fan of me talking about fat fashion, clothing for fat people, accessories, and all that stuff, because sometimes I like to do it. Sometimes. I'm going to try to throw some pictures up as we're talking, so that you can see what I'm talking about. So first up, we have Copper Union. Copper Union is an Portland, Oregon based brand. They make clothes for sizes 12 to 38. And the thing in particular from Copper Union that I have my eye on, but the piece that the piece that I want from Copper Union with all my heart, sweat pant overalls. Sweat pant overalls. Yes. I don't know how I feel about the overall trend that kind of came back in terms of denim overalls, because I hate denim and jeans and all of that. But sweat pant overalls, Copper Union is speaking my language with that. They do adorable dresses. I would totally be into any of their dresses, but the sweatpant overalls, it's just comfy, cozy, cute, stylish, comes in lots of colors. I want them. I want them real bad. That's my kind of cozy clothes. The next brand that I want to talk about is Trash Queen. As their Instagram bio says, they're a tiny alt fashion brand. They make extra small to 5XL, and they do have that alternative kind of vibe to them. And there's just something about them that just brings me a lot of joy, because they incorporate color, they have cute patterns, they have adorable skater skirts. The front page of their site has a reference for cake, short skirt, long jacket. They even have some cute overall shorts that I'm not mad about. The chaotic aesthetics windbreaker, cow print things. Here's the other reason why I'm trying to pay more attention to clothes and give myself the space and opportunity to actually spend money on clothes, is that I still feel I don't have a total grasp of my style, but there's parts of alt style that calls my name. And so I just feel Trash Queen would be that's where I would love to start, in terms of incorporating things that, even the Beetlejuice, the velvet Beetlejuice stripe leggings, I'm into it. Trash Queen, definitely. I need to try them. And they do custom stuff, I think, as well. I think I'm not going to say all of these brands, but I think that there are definitely brands that are doing custom sizing. So, that's an option. That's definitely an option if you are somebody with a, marginalized body size. Now, the next brand I want to talk about is kind of the opposite of a small brand, but I still don't think I've actually tried them, and that's Illoquii. I know. I don't think I've had any clothes from Illoquii. So they are a size 14 plus brand. I believe they're pretty big box owned. If my memory serves me right, they might be owned by Walmart. Maybe. Illoquii is just one of those brands that I feel I should have tried by now. And I think they do a pretty nice range of styles. I don't see anything in particular on their Instagram that's like popping right out to me, but I just feel tempted by them. And I think if I caught the right sale, that would be a good spot to start. I feel like maybe their swimwear, or even this organza duster that Lord Troy is wearing. Like, if I had a silly, like, monetary purchase to make, it would be that. So yeah, there's not something explicitly that I want from Illoquii, but I just, I guess I just feel like I should have something from them. I don't know. Now, I gotta talk about Thunder Thighs. So, I don't remember how I found them, but Thunder Thighs is a brand that makes thigh-high socks for juicy legs only, according to their Instagram. So here's something that I've realized about myself. I didn't ever really have access to clothing that made me feel sexy until I feel like a couple of years ago. And thigh highs have just always been a thing that just, I want to be a person that has thigh highs because they just look delectable on everyone. So when I saw them hit the market, because I've tried Kixie's, which is another brand that does thigh highs, but when I tried them, they did not fit me. And they may have adjusted since then. That was a couple of years ago, but I was very disappointed about that. But the comfy, cozy sock style thigh highs, yes, please. I think they're in the process of like making some leg garters for their thigh highs. So I'm kind of thinking about waiting to see when they release that for purchase. But they're just like, their whole feed just, it's just everything. And so I'm like, one of these days, one day soon, I will pick up a pair. Okay, I'm gonna stop because the feed is activating me in great ways, but gotta keep it moving. Brand 5 on the list is ARC. They're more of like a base layer brand, so it's their Instagram bio says responsibly sewn organic base layers. Now, I've never spent a lot of money on underwear. It's a hard thing to imagine, but they definitely tempt me because they do a super, super high-waisted underwear cut, and I love that kind of cut. I just love that kind of cut. I also think their bralettes are cute, and they're like tank top base. I love it. I love the aesthetic of the tank top like base piece. I don't know. It just brings me joy. But I have such a hard time spending what they charge on underwear. And so I don't know if I'll end up getting anything from ARC this year, but I do. I want to give them a try. I'd probably pick up a bralette or a tank before I would pick up one of their underwear pieces, but we'll see. They just, something about them just calls my name. So I have to thank Uoma Aluo for this next brand, Jibri. Jibri is a brand I've known about for a while, but this post of these sweatpants that Uoma's wearing with the caption, "How can you have normal sweatpants once you've seen these Jibri online sweats?" And I was just like, Jibri, I forgot about you. And these sweatpants are, they bring me so much joy. Yes, I want some fancy sweatpants. And by fancy, I mean triple digit sweatpants. Because you know me, if you don't know me, comfy cozy is my happy place. And that's how all my clothes have to be. And when I saw this pant, yes, I need it. I want it. Maybe not in the cream color because not for me, but that cut draping I want it. Okay, speaking of another person to thank, a food writer who I adore, who's also written a great memoir on anxiety called High Anxiety. This person, her name is katkinsman. They are a head person at Food and Wine. I'm bad with titles. Anyway, one of their Thanksgiving pieces was about caftans and like wearing caftans, and the piece had many mentions of different brands that do caftans, and the Fringe & Co. brand just instantly, I was like, I need, because of course Kat, like, she included a wide variety of caftans, but the super fabulous glam ones definitely caught my eye. Glittery, sequiny, holographic, colorful. I just so fun. Rainbow fringe. Yeah, it just like, I have no shame in wearing the caftan that I have out in the world, but like, I want to wear one of Fringe & Co.'s caftans, like, out in the world. Just so fun and cool and bright, and just brings me so much joy, like, all of the caftans on their site. Okay, speaking of another brand that, like, could help me kind of dip into my more alt style, Foxblood is a brand that I heard about a while ago that does have some plus size clothes. Of course, the brand has lots of black, has lots of like drapey pieces. I haven't looked at their site in a little while, to be honest. So just their like the Nissa swing dress with pockets, just like a good black dress that's flowy with pockets, that's a winner for me. So, and I actually don't have that in my collection. This one might actually go a little too long for me, because I'm shorter. I could also consider the baby doll, or I don't know. They just, for me with Foxblood, it was their dresses or their like drapey tops that caught my eye the most. And I love a good black basic piece. And I feel like that would be like their price point is like just a step up for me in terms of like what I would feel comfortable spending. So I feel like Foxblood might be a little bit more likely of a brand that I could buy from. Now, the last two brands kind of sit in my head in the same spot, but I thought I would talk about both of them. But I will be honest, Imani Barbaran, Cartridge and Spice on TikTok and Instagram is who refreshed my memory of Reb Dolls. And like they hired Imani as a model, and I thought that was, or as like an ambassador, and I thought that was fucking badass. But Reb Dolls just seems to do kind of like a mix of kind of retro, sexy, a lot of it is more sexy. It's more like bodycon, sweater dresses, all kinds of dresses like that. But like, they just seem like a brand that I'm now more curious about, just having seen them, you know, do good shit, I guess, on the internet. Does that count? Just doing good shit? The tricky thing right now for me is I'm looking at like their Instagram, and I know that I'm looking more for spring summer kind of clothes, and brands are just not, they're not in that space right now, obviously. Reb Dolls is definitely on the list. And I don't think I said this earlier, but like any of the brands I talk about, if there's any certain pieces that you love, or if any of the brands remind you of other brands that you know that make clothes for fat people, definitely recommend in the comments, because I'm still kind of new at this. I'm new at like actually paying attention to brands, because I studied clothing design and I worked in the industry for a little while, and I'm pretty unwilling to get kind of too committed about it, I guess, if that makes sense. But at the same time, why should I not have fun with my clothes? You know? Speaking of fun with my clothes, Unique Vintage is another brand that I'm less familiar with, but I kept hearing about them, and like, speaking of cute, like they did a Candyland board skirt. Like they turned the Candyland board into a skirt. But like that's some cute shit. That's like that's the thing, is like I know I have this like alt side that I want to play in, but I also have like kind of a very femme, slightly frou-frou side that I want to like dabble in more too, and just kind of like mix and match them. And I feel like some of the things that Unique Vintage would probably like fit into that space. I mean, we'll see, but like a good flared skirt, a flared dress, like a freaking twister polka dot skirt. Yes, that's super cute. So I think Unique Vintage is the last on the list. I think that's 10 brands that do clothing for fat people that I'm interested in shopping from this year, or this coming year, 2022. Like I said, let me know if there are any brands that I didn't talk about that you think I might be interested in, or if you have any insider information about any of the brands that I did mention. Definitely leave me a comment, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you for spending some of your day with me talking fat fashion. But most importantly, don't forget to take care of yourself better today than you did yesterday, because you are worth it. Bye, friends.